Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news show where we talk about all the shows that are in development, renewals, cancellations, premiere dates, casting bits and things and whatnot. At the end of the show, we also pick our favourite episode of TV of the week, if there's been enough to actually pick from, which there kind of has this week. We got Better Call Saul, we got The Deuce, we got Castle Rock, we got a few things to pick from.
There's been a couple. There's been enough.
Yeah, we could pick something at the end, but that's the idea. That's what we're going to do. So we'll get straight into it. That's probably one of the quickest intros I've done on these news shows in a while.
Maybe ever.
Maybe ever. But first up, we got one renewal, which is not that notable for us, but it's worth mentioning. Insatiable's been renewed with Netflix for season 2.
I think the only notable thing about this is that despite all the protests, they were like, "Nah, let's give it a season 2 anyway."
Yeah, apparently enough people watched it. they didn't care that everyone was... Well, not everyone, but there was a vocal backlash to the premise of the show. And it was a really stupid, inane premise. Like, it was like right out of a 90s teen movie, levels of bullshit, but whatever. Anyway, so we got some trailers this week for a couple of things. Very interesting things. We got a teaser trailer for Sabrina, The Chilling Tales of Sabrina from Netflix. It's only a minute long. It's very quick and brief. Just quick glimpses of how the show looks. Ends with her blowing out her candles, presumably on her 16th birthday, because that was always a thing with Sabrina, was that the 16th birthday was when she got her powers and she became part of the Witchworld and so on. And it looks pretty good. Looks dark. Looks moody.
Looks fine. Yeah.
Yeah. You got the cat coming in, Salem, at the end. Not real Salem. This is like an animated cat, but over the logo at the end when the date came up. So yeah, they're playing to the style. You see glimpses of high school and rituals and evil-looking things. It looks fun. It looks fun. It is weird it coming up saying from the makers of Riverdale, though, because it doesn't really look anything like Riverdale. Not really.
No, not really, no.
No. Which, by the way, I saw a thing today.
What's Riverdale done now?
Apparently, I mean, spoilers for... Obviously, it's not a spoiler for Season 3, but I know what's happening in Season 3 at the start, so presumably spoilers for Season 2 if you're not caught up in Riverdale and you care about it. But apparently Archie's on trial for murder. What?
Do you know what Riverdale is like it for me now? It's in that same category as Gotham, where I go, what the hell?
What is that show?
Did you see the casting news for Gotham this week? I assume you haven't put it in here because we don't care. But
I saw a news article. I've forgotten what it was already, though.
Yeah, apparently they haven't confirmed it outright. The name of the character they've given slightly different, but apparently they're doing Bane. Apparently they finished last season on No Man's Land.
Okay.
And now they're talking about doing Bane. Apparently, the episode's leaked, and episode 8's called "I Am Bane." And I'm like, what? How are we doing Bane in Gotham?
How are we doing any of the villains that are in Gotham outside of like 2 of them that make sense?
Sure, but Bane's especially weird, right?
No weirder than the Joker. But they've essentially done at this point.
Yeah. Let's not to mention they're getting a new Batcave. Cracked me up here.
Oh yeah, a second Batcave. Yeah, he's not even Batman yet. He's got a second Batcave. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah. But yeah, Sabrina looks good. I'm curious to see what it is. There's not a lot to go on plot-wise, but it looks visually interesting. And then the other trailer we got was for the rival streaming platform, Amazon. We got a trailer for Homecoming, which is the Sam Esmail directed show. Although he did not write it, this is important. He is producing and directing, and I think he directed the whole thing, which is notable. But
I would assume so, given that when it comes up, it just says directed by.
Yeah.
So it doesn't say some directed by.
But,
usually that means all of it.
But no, I think it's important to note though, to keep your expectations in a reasonable place. He did not write a word of this. Seemingly, he did not write this at all. He just directed it. Now, he's a good director. This is not me saying that you should not be excited. This is me saying it might be different than Mr. Robot because he didn't write it. Although, visually, there's definitely shades of Mr. Robot in this trailer.
Even down to it opens on the fish tank, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I've seen this shot in Mr. Robot a million times.
The colour palette is very Mr. Robot. He's not so much doing the headroom in this, but there is a different visual thing here where there's a different aspect ratio popping up throughout this. It seems that like so the whole thing revolves around Julia Roberts is like this care worker at this secret government facility, right? I remember that mostly from the premise when we were talking about it before when we got the news. Whereas here, the trailer was very cryptic about what was actually going on, and it seems like the stuff that was not inside that building, or the stuff that wasn't part of those interviews where she was talking to or clients, or is clients the right word? Her patients, clients, patients, subjects, her subjects. It seems like the footage that's not part of that stuff is in this weird aspect ratio. It's like 5:4.
Yeah.
It's like really thin. It's thinner than even 1:1, which is square.
I did see some people in the comments of the YouTube video questioning the aspect ratios, and there were some people responding saying they saw it at whatever festival it premiered at this last week. They showed the first like 4 episodes.
Oh, first 4? Jesus.
First 4, and they said it's established in the first episode what the reason for the aspect ratios is pretty clearly what it is there. So we're guessing that maybe that's it. It's hard to tell in the trailer though.
But there's a reason. There's a narrative reason why there's certain scenes that are in this weird aspect ratio, and that's Sam Esmail up to his old trick. I'd have guessed that though. I didn't really need people from a festival to tell me that. Like that'd be my assumption. There's a reason for it.
No, but they said it's established really early on as well. Was the main thing, because people were going, oh, is it a spoiler to learn what it is, the reason.
It's the sort of thing where I think by the end of the first or second episode you'll get thematically why it's separate. It won't be, or at the very least you'll be like, this is different. You'll notice either of a different world, and when I say a different world I don't necessarily mean literally an alternate reality, just you'll know there's a strict reason for it. It's kind of like how in Westworld there was an aspect ratio change this season, and immediately, okay, there's a rule here. This is something different from the main thing, and you know, sometimes it's a timeline thing, sometimes it's a memory thing, sometimes it means it's a dream, sometimes whatever.
No, it's true, because there was a scene in the very first episode of the season like that, and we were questioning. Yeah. Okay, what's the purpose?
And we didn't exactly know what it meant yet, but we immediately knew that it was separating it from the rest of the scenes. So that was something that was in our heads the entire time. So now Homecoming looks very interesting. It looks very frantic. There's a lot of recognizable faces in there. Shea Wiggum's in there. What's his face for Mr. Robot's in there from last season? Bobby Carnival.
Yes,
yeah. So no, interesting looking cast. Sissy Spacek popped up in there briefly, so she's going to be in there. We just saw her in Castle Rock. So no, it looks interesting. It's definitely probably the most interesting looking Amazon exclusives up until this point.
Yeah, and I appreciate that Amazon are diversifying as well. We speak a lot about how Netflix really do all sorts of content.
Yeah, I wonder how much push this is going to get though. Compared to the advertising that Jack Ryan's been getting from Amazon, I wonder how much of a push Homecoming gets.
Yeah, I think we'll have to give it another week or so, because they're still pushing Jack Ryan at the moment, obviously.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm just wondering, like, is this something they expect to be a hit, or is this something they're accepting as the arty cult thing that will have a cult following but is not going to blow up?
I think probably that, but I think they'll try and push it a little bit. At least on their platform. Maybe they won't see as much exterior advertising as we did with Jack Ryan.
Yeah, I'm thinking exterior. I mean, obviously, they're going to push everything on their platform. Although I say that, I remember Comrade Detective being oddly hard to find on their platform when it launched.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not always the case.
Times are changing. And plus, even this still feels much bigger than Comrade Detective in that it's a 10-episode show with Julia Roberts in it. That alone's enough to... I mean, okay, sure, Channing Tatum and Joseph Gordon-Levitt did voices for that one, but it was still like a weird niche idea.
It was. Pretty cool.
So I don't know. Anyway, so that's Homecoming. It looks pretty good, and that's coming up this month. Is that the end of the month?
Start of November, I believe.
Start of November. We scheduled it recently, and I couldn't remember what it was.
It's the week after Sabrina.
Is it? Okay. All right. So they'll be overlapping then, is what you're saying. Okay.
They will, yes.
So cool. So moving on, we mentioned Westworld there, and speaking of the devil, Aaron Paul has joined the cast of Westworld season 3. Bitch.
Yep. He's going to save the day with magnets.
He's going to want some futuristic robotic Gatorade. Yes, we're making Breaking Bad jokes, of course, but that's cool news. Obviously, we like Aaron Paul, and again, we're expecting the third season of Westworld to have a fairly different setting with probably a few new cast members. So it's nice to have one of them confirmed to be someone like this, and the fact that they're casting means that they're on pace to start producing and making episodes, and therefore hopefully we'll have new episodes by at least the end of 2019.
Yeah, maybe just about.
Why are you doubting that so much?
I was just working out, like, okay, when did this one start? I was thinking, what's a year and a half? I'm like, yeah, just about.
Yeah, no, it's a year and a half. End of 2019. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'd stake your life on it.
No, I bet you would.
Moving on, AMC has cast Zachary Quinto and Ashley Cummings as the lead roles in NOS4A2, which is, just to remind you here, the spelling of this is, it's more like a license plate. It's NOS4A2. NOS4A2. This is the one that's based on the Joe Hill book. Zachary Quinto will play Charlie Manx, a seductive immortal who feeds off the souls of children, then deposits what remains of them into Christmasland, an icy, twisted Christmas village of Manx's imagination, where every day is Christmas Day and unhappiness is against the law. Manx finds his whole world threatened when a young woman in New England, played by Cummings, discovers she has a dangerous gift. Cummings will play Vic McQueen, a young working-class artist whose creativity awakens a supernatural ability to track Manx. What Vic lacks in social confidence, she makes up for in courage, humour, and tough-as-nails grit. She strives to defeat Manx and rescue his victims without losing her mind or falling victim to him herself. It's 10 episodes. It's coming in 2019.
Okay, I'm down.
And I laughed when I read this because this Christmasland thing sounds like your own personal hell.
It really does. I think it sounds like it's intended to be hellish.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll start off feeling like it's fine, but then when the kids realise they're trapped
not
there forever,
to be unhappy.
Yeah. Obviously it is, but you hate Christmas anyway, so even day one you're miserable.
I hate Christmas. I just don't like Christmas.
You may as well hate it then. I mean, that's the point.
There's a difference.
Christmas is great. You just had an awful ginger childhood, and it's coloured your opinion. Now, obviously, we're interested in this. Joe Hill, NOS4A2. Obviously, it's not the classic version of NOS4A2, by the sounds of it, but the fact that it's playing on those tropes, and then it sounds like it's got a quirky twist to it as well, based on this. Zachary Quinto was a pretty
solid casting. Yeah,
Quinto was a pretty solid actor. So no, it's good. Speaking of casting, 13 Reasons Why star Catherine Langford. That's the one who left because she's the one who died at the start, and they couldn't keep bringing her back because how many tapes did she leave? So she's going to star in an all-Netflix show called Cursed. This is the one that's coming from Frank Miller, of all places. So she will play the lead role of Nemu, a teenage heroine with a mysterious gift who is destined to become the powerful and tragic Lady of the Lake. To remind you what this is, the series is described as a reimagination of the Arthurian legend, told through the eyes of Nimue. It is a coming-of-age story whose themes include the obliteration of the natural world, religious terror, senseless war, and finding the courage to lead in the face of the impossible. This sounds batshit insane.
I need to see this.
This sounds like it's on acid and does not know what it really wants to be just from that one paragraph.
So what you're saying is...
It sounds like Frank Miller.
Sounds like modern Frank Miller, yeah.
I don't even know where to begin. That'll be an interesting pilot to do when it hits. I'll say that much.
I'm kind of excited just for the sheer nonsense of it.
Breaking news. We're recording this after we finished and then inserted it earlier so that it wasn't after or before or after the outro credit. Anyway, the point is that there was casting. There was casting for Supergirl in the sense that Lois Lane, who we knew was coming, has now been cast. Elizabeth Tulloch, best known for playing Juliet Silverton / Eve in Grimm. Why is it two people? Is that like a common like Clark Kent Superman
Grimm
thing?
Grimm was the fairy tales show.
Does everyone play two characters? Was that a thing?
I don't know. What I was going to say is I don't know if maybe it was different stories that they did.
Oh, okay, all right, maybe. She was in 6 seasons though. That would imply
Okay, maybe not.
a regular who's been there for a long time. But anyway, so no idea who she is, but she's going to play Lois Lane and Supergirl in the crossover. So
yeah, no, it's cool.
Cool.
And let's see if Pete managed to edit this in the appropriate casting section.
I will. How dare you? How dare you? I'm googling her. I see what she looks like.
She looks the part well enough.
Ah, yeah, I get Lois vibes from her. When she's got the dark hair down, yeah, I'm getting Loisy vibes.
I can see it. I don't really, not really super familiar with her, so I mean,
it feels like
can't speak to her acting.
She feels like she's more Clark's supposed age as opposed to all the young CWs. Not to say she looks old. She doesn't look old at all, but she looks more like she's in her 30s as opposed to.
Yeah, no, she's 37 according to Google.
So, which is good. I think apparently that gives her a bit of gravitas.
Apparently, she actually goes by Bitsy.
Bitsy?
Bitsy Tulloch. Yes. Because I copied the name and Googled it and it comes up saying Bitsy Tulloch and I'm like, hang on, that's not what I searched.
Willingly wants people to call her Bitsy. Okay, I mean, to each their own.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out. But yeah, so Supergirl got its Lois. Breaking news. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. So you really liked American Gods last year, right?
Yeah, I did.
I thought it was okay. I wasn't in love with it. So here's some news. So Jesse Alexander, who was the showrunner, he took over from the first showrunner. He was running season 2. This is obviously the American Gods was started by Michael Green and Brian Fuller. They left, of course. Jesse Alexander took over, but he has apparently been sidelined. So I'm just going to read this. This is from Hollywood Reporter. Insiders say that Alexander was asked to stop working on American Gods, an adaptation of Neil Gaiman's novel, about a month ago. The word "fired" was not used internally, and representatives for Alexander said the characterization was not accurate. But Alexander, an executive producer, is no longer working on the hyper-stylized drama as a writer or showrunner, and has been asked not to sit in on editing, be involved on set, or participate in any other areas of production or post-production. Oh yeah, that's totally not being fired. One source
if he's getting paid, he's not being fired.
True, he's getting paid. That's fine. One source described Alexander's role as effectively fired but not fired, as he has been relegated to the sidelines on a season 2 and yet to be replaced. Sources note that Fremantle, the show's studio, would rather exile Alexander than endure the negative attention that would come with dismissing a second showrunner in 2 seasons. Yes, you're getting it anyway now because this story broke, but still, Alexander turned in.
Tried.
Yeah, Alexander turned in multiple drafts of the show's season 2 finale, but executives at both Starz and Fremantle have rejected those scripts and are up to what sources described as a 7th draft. Which isn't inherently... I know that sounds high, but that's not actually that weird to have 7 drafts of a script.
No, I think that's the one bit of this article that sounds like, oh, look how bad this is, right? That feels like they're playing it up.
To be fair, the rest of it does sound really bad. It's just 7th.
The rest of it does. It's just that one little bit sounds like they're going, look, more evidence. Where I'm like,
unless they mean he turned in 7 drafts, and they turned.
Well, no, because they mentioned he turned in multiple drafts, and now they're on the 7th. So it sounds like he did 2 or 3, and they didn't like them, so they've got other drafts.
Well,
after
actually,
that.
To defend the way they're phrasing this, what comes next actually backs up why there's concern. It's not so much that there's been 7 drafts, it's that... Well, let me continue here. Production on the drama, which is 6 weeks behind and recently forced to go on hiatus, is in disarray. Cast members have not received copies of the script for the show's finale because, as one source put it, there is no script. So... they're on a 7th draft of a script that should have been finished weeks and weeks ago, and probably months ago at this point, and they should be shooting this already, and they're still going through drafts. That's what the bad part is here.
That is bad.
Right. Another report source says it's possible the crew has received a far from finished version of the final script, but whatever is partially distributed is almost guaranteed to go through extensive changes. Instead of shooting the season finale, which should have been in production already, American Gods has been filming pickups and reshoots of earlier episodes. Multiple sources cited ongoing friction between Starz and Fremantle, as well as efforts by author Gaiman to assert greater control over the drama as the core sources of tension. Actors have been rewriting script pages. That's a bad sign. When your actors are putting red lines through the script pages on set and saying, no, I'm saying this instead, you've got a problem.
Unless it's a very talented actor who does this on the side, yeah, that's a problem.
Well, even if that's the case, if the director and the showrunner are not happy that they're doing it, it's still a problem. It doesn't matter how good they are. Yeah. If it's not approved, it's a problem. Actors have been rewriting script pages, and Fremantle, which had hoped to trim the budget on the show's second season, is now spending frantically in order to simply finish the season. Due to all the issues that have been bedeviled, this saga is clashing deities. The second season of American Gods will not arrive until 2019, 2 years after the first debuted, to generally positive reviews. So this show is an absolute shambles right now. And I'm laughing at it because I feel like every show Brian Fuller touches right now ends up going through this weird turmoil. And now Star Trek Discovery looks like a picnic compared to this.
Yeah, and that's on its, what, third, fourth showrunner?
Something like that, yeah. Something in that region.
Yeah. No, it's a shame because I enjoyed season 1. I did. This has had so many problems. I'm not expecting anything good anymore. I think it's safe to say we're probably not getting a season 3.
Yeah, given that Stars wanted to spend less and are now spending more, or Fremantle wanted to spend less and are now spending more, like, there's going to not what unless season 2 does so well and gets so much critical buzz and so much attention. I feel like it's done.
You know, the part that I think is quite interesting, to me at least, is that the rest of the season's done. They're doing reshoots and pickups. It's just the last episode by the sounds of it. So, what is it they're so undecided about?
But doing extensive reshoots for a whole season, like, I don't know how common that is for a TV show.
Yeah, I mean,
don't get me wrong. I'm sure they go back and do, like, I know there's a scene in the pilot of Lost which they added in after about episode 4. It was when they were doing episode 4, they went back and added in one shot because they thought, oh, that'll like connect things up better later on, but.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there, but it might be a bit different on cable and streaming shows.
No, it may be, but the fact that they're killing time when they're supposed to be shooting the finale by doing extensive reshoots makes me wonder if there's actually been a lot of changes to past episodes and they're going back and tinkering with them.
Yeah.
And even if it is just the final episode, then like that means they've not got an ending.
No, that's what I mean. That's why I find most interesting, assuming that the reshoots aren't that out of the ordinary. They're just, we'll do them now instead of after, right? I think it's interesting that that's where the problem's coming from, that they don't know what they want to end their season on.
That said, if the reshoots are them changing things because they're not happy, and that sort of leads to, like, let's say they've got an ongoing problem with this showrunner and they don't like anything that he's done all season, and they're going back and try to alter things, and they don't know how to end it because they're basically just try to resuscitate it, whatever's there, whatever they don't like, they're trying to mold it.
This kind of sounds like
Justice
to
League.
Me. No, specifically in the TV world.
Okay.
Man in the High Castle, because that did one of their seasons. They got rid of the showrunner, and just was like, we're not replacing you. Just the writers' room. You can finish the season.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It was writers' room just worked without a showrunner. That was a little bit different in that they hadn't finished the season yet anyway, so they were still working until like half the season like that.
Yeah.
I can't really speak to the results of that season though because I didn't watch it.
No, I didn't hear anything particularly bad though.
It's getting like a season 4 right now. So I mean, and I think that was season 2 that happened in. So I mean,
it was season 2 or 3, yeah.
It was season 2. It was because it was a while ago, and season 3's happened since, and they're getting season 4. So they have survived that.
Yeah.
If nothing else, they've survived it. But Stars and Fremantle spent a lot of money on this show. It was very high budget. It looked very expensive.
It did, yeah.
And I don't know if it survives this. I don't know.
I don't think it does. And that's a shame, but can't see it happening.
Yeah, I can live without it. I'm not that excited about it coming back.
I think if season 2 turns out to be, actually quite good, I'll be really disappointed.
It's one it's one that I fell into Fuller shows that I think are a bit overrated and I just don't quite get as well as everyone else does.
That's fair. I like it a lot. It's not my favorite of Fuller shows though, as far as those go, but I do like it a lot.
Yeah.
And I've read the book. I'm a fan. I want to see more of that stuff adapted. because I know all the good stuff to come.
Yeah, because you know I'm not a big fan of Hannibal. You know, I watched the Pushing Daisies pilot. I didn't care for it.
I love Pushing Daisies.
I didn't care for it. The only filler show I think this was filler was Dead Like Me. Was that filler?
I think so.
Yeah,
I never saw that one.
I liked the season 1 of that. I saw. I never saw season 2 or the wrap up movie after it got cancelled. But season 1 was pretty enjoyable from what I remember. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, there's something about the way filler does his shows that I just don't like.
I am amazed he still gets hired.
He leaves everything. He leaves most things before they even start at this point.
Right. Over the last few years, he's left American Gods, Star Trek Discovery, that one for Apple.
Yeah, there was one for Apple. Yeah, he left. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's 3 in the last, year and a half. I don't think he's actually put out an episode of anything since American Gods. Not really counting Discovery, because BioPods, that was kind of
he was gone.
They left. Yeah,
he was gone pretty early on in that. So I don't know. So everything he starts, he leaves, and then a lot of them end up in this turmoil. This being seemingly the worst of it, the worst example of it so far. But
it's pretty bad.
Oh dear. So next up, let's move on. So let's get some new shows. We've got some network comedies to talk about. ABC is giving a strict commitment.
Can I just butt in before we get here, because we did have a date announcement for a show that I feel like usually goes at the start, and I thought maybe you're doing it after casting for whatever reason.
No, it's usually at the start. It's usually renewals, cancellations, then premiere dates. So and then trailers.
That's what I thought, but I feel like I'll butt in before you get to the new shows.
Okay. What we got?
Do you not remember this?
No
we were
idea.
literally talking about it yesterday. This is Channel Zero.
Oh yeah, I remember this now. I was annoyed by this. Yes, go on.
Well, you have the exact dates, but they're releasing all the episodes at once.
I don't have it at all. What do you mean I've got the exact dates?
Well, you were the one who told me the dates.
Okay,
so
sure. No, it's easy to remember because there's 6 episodes like the past seasons, and they're airing it one per night, and it ends on Halloween. So it starts on the 26th, I think.
Yes,
Friday the 26th.
Friday the 26th.
And they air one per night.
Same day as Sabrina.
Same day as Sabrina and Castlevania. More importantly, after they air the first episode, Sci-Fi are putting all the episodes on their video on demand service. So it's basically going up binge style, but they're still airing it one per day. This puts it in a really tricky situation for us to cover because, as we just said, Sabrina and Castlevania seasons on Netflix are launching that day, and it may just be impossible for us to do the next season of Channel Zero. We may just not be able to do it.
Yeah, because this is the thing with the Netflix shows. If we almost never hit one per day, and we don't go in with the expectation of one per day because we have a lot of other stuff as well to do. We kind of go, all right, one every other day, give or take.
Yeah,
and that's fine with a Netflix show because there's not consistent air dates that are hitting. But with this, it would feel like, okay, we get the first day, we do the Friday. And then Saturdays in particular are really hard for us to record TV shows on. And we missed that, then we've actually missed an episode. We're behind the
We're behind at that point.
It feels weird.
And then add on to that, season 3 kind of sucked. So
yeah,
the motivation's kind of rough.
Hard.
And then you just said, we could do the first one on the Friday. And I'm not even sure we could because ultimately...
No, that's just saying theoretically.
Yeah, because ultimately... like Sabrina and Castlevania are getting a bit more priority than that would. Partly because more people. I mean, obviously Sabrina's not in its first. This is first season, so we don't know how Sabrina's going to do. But typically, new Netflix shows get a lot more attention when we do reviews of those, as opposed to Channel Zero, which we've done 3 seasons of, and it used to do okay, but season 3 was a bit weaker. As was the quality
fine.
of the show.
It was never in danger of being cancelled on numbers alone.
Sure, yeah. But they've basically... And this is the thing, see if it was one per week. Yeah, we'd do the first one, then we could do the second one the next week, it'd be fine. But mixing it in with 2 other binge shows that are alternating, and then the fact that we're getting Homecoming a week later, I feel like we might just not be doing it.
It's pretty like... And that back half of October is pretty busy for us as well, because... I'm on holiday for a week in October, so we're kind of catching up on stuff.
So unfortunately, Channel Zero has just picked a date and a method of delivery, which means that we probably won't be doing it. If there's a big outcry saying no, do it, then we'll try and squeeze it in gradually, maybe. But most of the episodes will be late. They'll be trickling out.
Yeah, we're not hitting that one per day to be done by Halloween.
Nah.
That's
You'll get
just not happening.
one. You'll get one that weekend, and then it'll be another 3 or 4 days probably for the second one, and then from there, whenever. Like that. That'll be what happens if we try and squeeze it in somehow. But that's best case. Alright, there you go. There's the unfortunate Channel Zero news out of the way. Moving on, so we got comedies. First up, we got a sitcom from ABC, which is actually a revival of an old show that I've never heard of. Although they're describing it as a sequel, but I mean, revival, sequel, it's the same damn thing. There's a 1990s sitcom called Designing Women, and this was actually 86 to 93, which I would argue is more of an 80s sitcom than a 90s sitcom, but neither here nor there.
I would too.
Whatever. But it's centered on the lives of 4 women and 1 man working together in an Atlanta interior design firm. The sequel will follow the next generation of the Sugar Bakers, which I assume is the name of the company that they work at, with a crop of new young female designers at an Atlanta interior design firm, but still with the same razor-sharp dialogue and ability to cut through the political, cultural, and social factions that really agree on anything. What I think is funny about that description about what the sequel is going to be is it says it'll still have this wit and stuff, and I'm like, but the part before that sounded the exact same anyway. You don't have to say it still has this, because the whole thing's the same. It's just a new set of characters because they're all younger.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's a sequel and not a revival.
Because now the cast are coming back.
To me implies it's the same cast, it's continuing their stuff. Whereas sequel, it's just it's that world, that company. It's
basically a remake then at that point. I guess the only thing is there might be some small continuity things that tell us that that version existed.
It's a reboot.
It's a reboot. 25 years ago, yes, those characters were here doing this. I know. Maybe they'll get one of them. Maybe one of them will be like the manager. They'll get one of the old cast members back to be and then that would be a proper continuation.
It would, yeah.
There you go. Much like I've been joking on the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, have Xander come back as the Watcher. Here you have, I don't know, Dolores, whatever the characters' names were. Have Dolores come back and be the manager for the new youngins.
Yeah, okay. Why not?
Next up, ABC is given a strip commitment plus penalty to a single camera comedy from Rick and Morty writer and new Emmy winner Jessica Gao. The Untitled series is about Janet Zhao, a first-generation Chinese-American woman who struggles to set healthy boundaries with a crazy, exhausting family. When her wealthy grandmother dies and names Janet the sole inheritor, she suddenly finds herself the unwilling new matriarch of the family she spent her entire life trying to keep at arm's length. So she's crazy rich. An Asian.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to claim that they're just cashing in on something that's popular right now, but I mean the fact that they actually say crazy exhausting family, they're
intentionally hitting those beats.
Yeah, I mean I'm sure this was in development before that film hit big, but I feel like they're phrasing this very specifically to make you think of Crazy Rich Asians, which is fine. Absolutely. I get it. It's a big thing. But hey, so they're working on this, which is cool because I mean, can you think of an Asian family focused sitcom that's on right now or has been on anytime recently?
I don't think so. No,
I can't think of one. So it's good that they're doing this.
It is. Sounds like a family sitcom to me in general. Just everything else there, I'm like, okay, that could be good, could be bad, right? I'm not familiar with this writer.
Well, I mean, if she worked on the first couple of seasons of Rick and Morty, then I would have encountered her work. But I don't know which episodes were hers, and I have no idea. But
yeah,
it sounds like a fine idea. And yeah, go for it, ABC. Given it's ABC, you can almost sort of tell the tone that a sitcom will have based on what network it's going to be on. And ABC is like inoffensive, but not one that I'd watch, typically.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Whereas CBS is offensively bad. Fox used to have good sitcoms, but now doesn't have any really. NBC is the one.
NBC is the go-to, right?
NBC is the one that usually has good sitcoms. They still have some bad sitcoms, but they're usually the ones with the good sitcoms, typically. And that goes all the way back to the 90s. Like, Thursday Night Comedy Block, that was them in the 90s.
At least to our tastes, anyway.
Sure,
NBC have traditionally been our go-to.
And CW are just too classy for comedies, apparently. They don't do sitcoms.
Got no space in the schedule for sitcoms.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of the shows have been half hour, because I think the musical one was half hour, right?
I don't think so.
Was it not? I thought it was for some reason.
No, don't think it was.
You know what show I'm talking about?
Yeah. I want to say it was called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Yeah. I couldn't remember. That's why I was asking you if you knew what show I was talking about.
I wasn't 100% convinced on that, but I think it was what it was called.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode of that. I don't remember it being half an hour.
Unless it was a double because it was the premiere.
Maybe it was, yeah.
And it was half hour after that. I don't know. It may not be. I'm just for some reason I thought it was, but I mean, I guess the logic in my head is that it was shorter because they had to do all the music numbers, so it took longer to do. So,
alternatively, the music numbers take up so much time. You need to be 40 minutes to have the other stuff in between.
Sure, that's logic. But was it as good as Cop Rock? That's the important information to ask.
Well, I didn't keep watching it, so.
Have you ever seen Cop Rock? Why do you brushed past that as if you knew what that was?
No, I haven't.
It was a cop procedural musical from the early 90s that lasted one season, because
I could have guessed that.
Unsurprisingly, it was expensive and took a long time to make, and wasn't successful enough to sustain said budgets. Mm-hmm. There we go.
Pretty much.
The Legend of Cop Rock.
Sounds pretty fantastic, though.
Next up, NBC is put in development The In Crowd. This is a multi-camera comedy from Young and Hungry creator David Holden, Jim Parsons and Todd Spivak, their company, That Wonderful Productions. And The In Crowd is inspired by Tony Hurwitz's 1999 New Yorker article that centers around a gay couple who divide a small town when they open a very successful inn. So multi-camera makes sense for this. I can already see the lobby of the inn is the main set.
Yeah.
Now a couple of the bedrooms for various guests when they're here. The 1999 article in the In Crowd chronicles the controversy surrounding an inn in Little Washington, in Rappahannock County. That's a fun word, Rappahannock. I had to think about that. It was a long word. Virginia, that is, owned by Patrick O'Connell and Reinhard Lynch. It gets a small town and rural low-income county split over whether to support the O'Connell and Lynch's successful business, which is attracting big-name celebrities, or oppose the duo's ambitious expansion plans. So you're going to have this sort of conservative small town, this gay couple open up a bed and breakfast, essentially, and we'll have some clashing, I assume.
Outcry.
Yeah. Angry mobsters, protests. I can almost see one of the episodes having like the sound of protesters outside, but we never see them. They pretend there's protests going on outside.
Yeah, I can see this show in my head so easily.
Yes. Will it be good though? That's a question. I've not enjoyed a multi-camera comedy in a long time. Long time.
No, it's been a while.
Because I didn't even like How I Met Your Mother that much. So
I think that was the last one I liked.
So for me, we're going back to early 2000s, maybe. For some of the ones that were just finishing then, that had been on since the 90s.
Yeah, Friends finished in what, 03?
I'm thinking like Frasier finished early 2000s.
Yeah.
I actually kind of enjoyed Everybody Loves Raymond. I know I typically don't like CBS sitcoms, but that one had a great cast. That one was pretty good. But it had its moments. Not everyone agrees with that though. I know some people have a stigma against that show as well. So I may have to defend that one if it comes up. But it's been a while, is what I'm saying. Most multi-camera shows now are pretty cringeworthy. So I'm not holding out hope, but we did just say NBC was the go-to place for the sitcoms. So who knows? Maybe they'll
maybe they got something cooking.
Maybe they'll revive it. So next up, Phil Lord and Chris Miller are working on an NBC comedy as well. It's a single camera one they're producing. It's coming from writer and executive producer Hayes Davenport. It is titled Business as Usual. It is described as a comedy about an everyday employee, or everyday employees rather, at a company in crisis trying to keep their jobs and maintain their relationships as the workplace goes insane.
Okay, it's a workplace comedy. Cool.
It's a workplace comedy. Depending on how zany it gets, it could maybe separate itself from the pack.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell from that description, but it mentions there that them going insane. Maybe if they play with that.
Yeah, there's a pun here from Variety saying, "Oh, Phil Lord and Chris Miller taking meta to the next level," and there's nothing about that reads meta. I guess they're just kind of talking about NBC being a little insane. I guess that's what the joke they're making there. But
yeah, maybe.
nothing from the description feels meta to me, but there you go. Apparently, this was something that was a hot property, and apparently a lot of other networks were trying to outbid them, but NBC ultimately took it. So this was a highly desired concept or package, as the industry says.
It makes sense. I think most things that Lord and Miller sell are relatively desired. They tend to perform well.
Unless you're Disney and hired them for a Star Wars movie and then decide you didn't want your Star Wars movie.
Yeah. That was a poor choice. You hire them, you kind of should know what you're getting. And it feels like they wanted something else.
All right, here's the big thing of the week then. Probably the biggest, most interesting news item of the week is that Alan Wake, the video game from Remedy Entertainment, that came out in 2010. It was an Xbox. It was an Xbox exclusive console-wise, but it did come out in PC as well. I know that because I have it in PC. But it is a horror game about a writer, a very Stephen King-esque writer, very intentionally so, who goes to finish his book. He's got writer's block, and he goes with his wife to this small town to finish his book, and creepy things start happening. Mainly, the plot of a book that he doesn't remember writing starts happening to him, and that's kind of the premise. And it's very episodic. The game actually thinks it's a TV show and gives you previously ons between chapters, which is really annoying when you're just continuing playing. It's fine if you come back between chapters. It's like, okay.
It's probably the worst thing about the game.
Yes, a little refresher, cool. Now, I've not finished the game. It's one of these things I keep meaning to go back and properly go through and finish. But it's pretty good from what I played of it. My critique of the game would be that some of the locales you go through are a little bit too repetitive. Because it felt like it was mostly either in the woods or on a road, as opposed to actually getting into proper buildings and stuff. But that's more of a video game design complaint than as a story complaint. And when we're talking about a TV adaptation, that doesn't really matter as much because they can do what they want locations-wise. The point is the story and what they're doing with it. So it's in development. Peter Calloway, who worked on Legion and Cloak and Dagger, which actually got a lot of good buzz. We never tried it because Connor was being stubborn, didn't want to watch it. But that got a lot of good buzz as Legion, including from us. So he's going to be showrunner and writer. And Sam Lake is going to be an executive producer. Sam Lake is the game creator who works at Remedy.
Yes.
And I think it's really weird his name's Sam Lake, because Sam Lake also sounds like a made-up writer name, like a pen name.
It does. It does sound like he wanted his game to rhyme with his own name.
Now, obviously,
I'll just change a letter.
And if you didn't get the joke, if this is the first time you're ever hearing about Alan Wake, if you write his name now as just the initial and then his last name, his name is Awake. That's kind of the joke, right? That's the meaning there. But he's an executive producer. So they're going to shop this to various studios in October with Callaway's full pitch, but apparently there's already initial interest from a number of studios. That's what they're saying right now. So that's the thing. It's interesting. I did not expect that, especially since the game never got a sequel. Like it
never performed very well.
Sorry?
It never performed that well, which is what I believe.
It performed okay. It
did over time, not on release though.
Not on release. It sold 4.5 million, I think, overall, and it did okay. And they were working on a sequel. They spent years working on a sequel. It just never finished. It never went anywhere because they just couldn't justify it anymore.
I know Sam Lake has said in the past year or so that he'd love to do a sequel, and he has ideas, but ultimately it's Microsoft who has the final say so on the IP.
Which is interesting because they're now making games for other consoles. Their newest game that's coming out is actually multi-platform, so
Yes.
they're actually kind of abandoning that relationship. Perhaps because they don't want Microsoft to have control over what they're doing anymore.
Yeah,
That would make sense.
it's similar to what happened with Bungie, and they created Halo, and
So
they did the first 3 plus a couple of the spin-offs for Microsoft, and then they wanted to do other stuff, and but when they left because but they weren't allowed to take the Halo property with them. Microsoft were like, nope, this is ours. We're just giving it to other people.
yeah,
You
I think
can
that's a
just
very
go.
different example though because that was successful, and Microsoft wanted them to keep making more
Yeah.
of that. Whereas this is an example where they still wanted to keep working with Remedy, but no, don't work on that because that didn't do very well. Do something else. Which is interesting. Does that mean that Microsoft had a say in this, or do Microsoft only have a say in relation to a game being made with the property?
I believe only the game.
Right. So Sam Lake and Remedy own the rights to Alan Wake, but they do not own the video game rights to it. That's interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
That's very interesting. That's a
It is.
very specific distinction. So they can
And
go make
I
TV
think,
shows and movies all they want, but they can't make video games.
yeah, and I think it is interesting that it has been in the last year or so that he's been talking more about, oh, I wish I could have done a sequel. Maybe we'll see some of those ideas in future seasons of this show.
It wouldn't surprise me if season 1 was just that idea.
I think season 1 would probably just be an adaptation of the game, more or less. I would assume.
Maybe. From what I've played of the game, I don't know if there's enough story there for a season of TV. Having played, like,
Having finished it, I think there is.
okay, you think there is. All right.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'll make a point of playing it if this is going through because I want to have a basis to get into it. But I'll see how I feel about the plot should I finish it. I never played because I don't have an Xbox. I never played Quantum Break.
Yes.
Which did not get a lot of. I mean, it got relatively positive buzz for its gameplay, but almost everyone said this forced like TV episode thing that you have to stop and watch every couple hours was just annoying and frustrating. And
It does feel a little bit like Sam Lake wants to make a TV show with his games. It feels like what's the guy who made Heavy Rain and
David Cage.
yeah, thank you. Blank on the name. He wants to make movies, right? And it's like, well, I suppose I'll make a game. Sam Lake's like, well, I want to make TV shows, but here's a game.
David Cage is like so pretentious about his games, and then his games are just full of cliches, and it's like, how can you be this pretentious about something that's so full of tropes and like the things we've seen a million times before? It's weird. It's the way he speaks. You think he'd invented new plot ideas. You think he'd reinvented the wheel, and then you play his story, and it's like, oh, it's a detective looking for a kid, and so and so might be involved. Oh, plot twist. I'm like, and don't get me wrong. The endings of the games of his that I've played do go really unpredictable, but that's only because they go so batshit insane that nothing makes any sense, and nothing, like, you could never have predicted the ending of Fahrenheit or Indigo Prophecy, because the ending makes no sense and comes out of nowhere. So it's like, okay, yeah, you surprise me, but like, anyway, this is your fault for bringing up David Cage, right? You got me.
I'm sorry, I didn't expect the tangent and rant.
He's a hack. That's why. He's a goddamn hack.
He is a hack. He is. But I didn't expect the passion to come through just on that.
But yeah, so no, I'm curious to see what this will be. I'm curious to see, like, because obviously so much of the game is like going through the woods with your flashlight, like fighting enemies, and you can't just make the show be that. So.
No, you can't. But a big part of the game as well is the mystery of what was the story, right? And what happened to him that's caused this.
Sure, and maybe that's satisfying. From what I played of it though, which was the first like, I don't know, 4 hours, something like that. A decent chunk.
Yeah.
Because it's not a super long game, right?
Like 8 to 12 hours, something in that range, depending on how much you do the collectibles.
Yeah, so I've done about a third to a half of it, something in that range.
Yeah.
From what I played, the story didn't quite grab me yet. It was kind of weird because it felt like so. It's one of those things where because he's getting into like a dream world almost, like, you know, nighttime's falling and all of a sudden things have changed. It didn't have any agency for me yet. What I can see the show playing with though is whenever it was the daytime stuff where you were interacting with the townsfolk, I can see the townsfolk being a big part of the show. I can see the mystery of where's his wife being a big part of the show.
Yeah, I do love, one of my favorite things about the game is the tone and the mood, especially in the town.
Yeah, I
Like,
feel
it's
like
such a
because in
unusual place.
in the game, the going around fighting people with your flashlight sections are like the majority. I feel like in the show that'll be flipped, and that'll be like just like a couple of big set pieces, and most of it will be the other stuff with the mystery, which I think's the right
Almost
move.
certainly, yeah. I think you have to do that. I think that's how you adapt things properly. Yeah, you know, when you're doing the game, yeah, you want to be doing the gameplay more, and then have the story kind of along with that. That was the point there. Whereas in the TV show, you've got to, all right, we've got to focus in on this story and have the action to where it's appropriate.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Control though, which is the next game. It looks interesting, just for the
It
record.
does, yeah.
But yeah, it almost looks like this is the game they wanted to make because it's got some mechanics from the looks of the trailer. It's got some mechanics from Quantum Break, but Microsoft like insisted on doing this TV incorporation. Assuming that was them that forced that, it might not have been, but regardless, this is okay. We tried this with Quantum Break. Let's just do a proper game of it now.
Yeah.
And that's Control. But hey, so now that you're here to listen to us talk about video games, I know you're not, but sometimes we tangent. And it's impossible when the thing's an adaptation of a video game.
Yeah, that wasn't entirely our fault.
No.
They set us off.
No. Also, it's so weird to me that Xbox 360 was still a thing in 2010. It felt so old by that point.
Yeah. Was it really that late in the Xbox? Because I remember playing that when it came out, and it didn't feel...
Well, I mean, it was 5 years, and what's funny is that like this year's 5 years since the PS4 and Xbox One came out, but I think this generation feels different because games are taking so much longer to develop that it feels too early to have a PS5 and stuff been talked about. Because I'm like, most developers only had one game this generation. This is weird. Let them get another game out first.
Quite a sluggish start, didn't we? We had like two or three years of here's some remasters and remakes.
And I think that's just AAA games development. But I think it's really weird to me that we're talking about the possibility that like Rocksteady, who did like the Arkham games, right? They've had Arkham Knight, and we're hearing reports that their next game will probably be next gen. And I'm like, that was their one game this gen. The entire generation, they had one game.
Yeah.
And that's weird. I'm like, I don't know. Because of that, I'm like, no, let the generation be a couple of years longer. Just do it. It's fine. Move on.
It's not up to you though.
Should be.
I don't know. I agree with that.
I'm right about most things. I feel like I do a pretty good job of making these decisions. I don't actually want to run anything. I just come to me for the opinion of the consumer, and I will direct them on their way. And I'll be like, Nintendo, this stupid cloud system that you're charging for, which should be free and doesn't work for all games. And did you hear it expires the second your account runs out?
Yeah.
Your cloud saves get deleted. I'm like, what's the point? This is all. What if your card gets declined because your card changed? Bye saves.
Yeah, it's a lot of bollocks. I'm not disputing that.
Anyway, now we're tangenting into video game stuff. So moving back on to the next TV story. Entertainment One's acquired the TV rights to best-selling author Anne Patchett's novel State of Wonder to develop as an event series. Emily Mortimer is producing it along with Alessandro Nivola King. Alessandro Nivola's King Bee Productions. Right, that's the name of the company. So, in State of Wonder, Dr. Marina Singh journeys to the depths of the Amazon rainforest in search of her former mentor, veteran scientist Dr. Anik Swenson, who has vanished while conducting research into the prolonged fertility of the women of an isolated Amazonian tribe. As Marina embarks upon an uncertain odyssey, she will be forced to surrender herself to the lush but forbidding world that awaits her in the darkest reaches of the rainforest.
Was that supposed to be lush but forbidden, or lush but foreboding?
No, forbidding. That's what the word says.
Forbidding.
I'll admit I second guessed that when I read it earlier the first time I read it. Because I thought it was maybe forbidden.
I assumed you just... Yeah, I assumed you just decided halfway through to do a different one.
Not forbidding. That is what it says. Because I
That
did
would
the
work
same thing earlier. I
in
thought
this
it was meant to be
context.
forbidden, and then I read it again. I was like, oh no, wait, it's forbidding. Yeah, my guess is that it's probably supposed to be foreboding, and they just typed the wrong thing. Now, although to its credit, Word is not telling me it's incorrect. There's no red squiggly line under it.
No, I think it's a word,
Oh yeah,
but
because you're forbidding something. Yes, I forbid you from
yes,
this. Forbidding,
but
yes.
in that sentence, it's wrong, surely.
I don't know. Can a world be forbidding? It's because it's a dangerous location, so it's forbidding you from going there. But you're going to do it anyway because you're an adventurer.
I mean, at a stretch.
I admit it's a stretch, but maybe that's what they're going for, or it's just a mistake. I don't know. But I wasn't feeling this at first, but by the time I got to the end and they're talking about basically her surviving in the rainforest, I was like, are we getting some Werner Herzog style like women against nature stuff here? Is that what this is going to be? Because if it is, that's a bit more interesting to me.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. I think you need to hear more on this to really get
Yes.
an opinion.
I think I need to see what the style and focus of it is, but there's potential in there to do something visceral, perhaps even out of this. Depends what the focus is, though. Next up, Oscar nominee Rosamund Pike is going to star and executive produce in a show called The Banker's Wife. We did hear about this before, but now we've got some, cast attached. We've got some a writer creator. Meredith Stein is going to showrun it, and Leslie Linka Glatter is going to direct it. So this has been set up. No network as of yet. The Banker's Wife is set in the world of global finance from Geneva to Paris, London to New York, and is about two women racing for answers when a mysterious plane crash sets them off on a parallel pursuit of the truth. So we heard about this a while ago when it was first brought up as being acquired, but now it's a bit more concrete. Now we've got Rosamund Pike. It's very good. So
She is very good, yeah.
yeah, so
Little to complain about there.
she'll be one of the women seeking answers, presumably. Or not. Maybe there's another
Would
main
make
character that
sense.
I'm unaware of, but I assume casting her means she's a main character.
You'd hope so.
You never know, I suppose, but next up, Grey Matter Productions and Topic Studios are set to produce a new TV series based on Mary Kubica's novel The Good Girl, with Oren Moverman from Messengers, Rampant, and Time Out of Mind adapting it. The Good Girl tells the story of a kidnapping gone wrong of Mia Dennett, the perfect daughter of a prominent Chicago judge. When she's abducted as part of a wild extortion plot, her kidnapper unexpectedly decides to hide her in a remote cabin for months, evading both the police and the criminals who want to use her to get her to her father. Alternating timelines and the shifting points of view of Mia's mother, her kidnapper, and the detective tasked with finding her constantly circle the question of what really happened to Mia, and how, even in the perfect family, nothing is as it seems. I think the interesting part for me there is the idea that it's going to be shifting timelines and shifting character perspectives. To me, that says, okay, this, despite the fairly simple premise, it sounds like it's going to be more of a puzzle in how it's told.
Yeah, that's where I perked up a little bit. It was sounding pretty generic up till that point. I'm like, okay, you've got. I mean, it's not unique. We've seen it done before, but you've got something there. You've got a style to hook onto, and you're telling me more about, like you say, okay, it's going to be this puzzle. It's intricate. It's interwoven.
And because
it's
it's
just going to
told
be a
out of
straightforward mystery.
yeah, and because it's told out of order, I feel like we might not know if she's dead or alive until at the very end. Like we might just
Possibly.
not know that because we'll see a lot of her because it's jumping around in time, but it'll be like, oh, how did it end up? Because I assume that all of the detective stuff might be like the furthest in the timeline, for the most part.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah. So, there's some interesting stuff there. Some potential, I think, in the storytelling. Moving on, Robert Zemeckis is producing a show for the CW that's in development. It's called The Cove. It is a 1-hour series described as a soapy, swashbuckling adventure that follows the strange sisters in the aftermath of their father's death as they return to the Caribbean resort island that they frequented as family. They discover the sun-drenched paradise is hiding many secrets, including the missing treasure that was their father's obsession and may ultimately hold the key to eternal life. I feel like the word soapy's been thrown around a lot recently, and I don't know if I'd describe. I mean, I get what they mean probably by it, but I don't know if I'd describe this as a soap.
What they mean is it's kind of Tomb Raider Uncharted-esque, but it's going to be CW teenagerized.
Yes, but I think you can still do that without it being, to quote, soapy.
Hopefully.
You'd think.
Hopefully, they mean, okay, it's going to be CW.
Yes, that's what I
And
think they mean.
I can tolerate that when it's not turned up to an extreme degree.
Yeah.
So wait and see on that one.
Yeah. That's enough. Because when it gets, because it's like, oh, soapy, I'm thinking it's going to be really mundane, and it's like, oh, there's secrets, there's hidden treasure, and there might be a secret to eternal life. I'm like, okay, right, so it's a bit more interesting. What's going on?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Swashbuckling made me think more piratey, though. So I was a little bit disappointed.
That implies there will be some enemy, though, right? It won't just be them looking through caves and shit.
It has to be.
Yeah, there has to be enemies for them to fight. Anyway, speaking of CW, they've also put in development Lean On Me, a female-led hour-long drama inspired by the 1989 film starring Morgan Freeman, from writer Wendy Calhoun from Station 19. LeBron James is producing, as is John Legend, Mike Jackson, and Ty Strelokis' Get Lifted studio, as well as Warner Brothers TV. At the backbone of the whole thing. In a potential series, Lean On Me, when a spirited young black teacher, A. Marie Baldwin, scores a principal job at Akron, Ohio Public High School, she must dig deep to transform the failing campus into an urban oasis. In a time when education and schoolers' safety are life and death stakes, A. Marie will take on a broken system that tests her mettle, love life, and family. But she can keep her moxie in check in order to embody the aspirational educator that motivates and uplifts the entire community? Question mark.
Yeah, see, now this sounds more the range of CW shows that I avoid like the plague.
Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah, there's really nothing and also I like how they basically said personal and professional life, but in a really long, drawn out way that kind of circumvented the phrase.
Yeah,
so that's okay.
Do you think they became aware, like over the last year, they got a bit self-aware that hang on, we're all using this too much?
CW maybe, I don't know about the others. Let's wait and see what CBS and Fox and all that
they'll be straight back into it.
I've got going on. I'm not ready to be convinced of anything. It's another CW one first though. We got CW script commitment plus penalty for a basketball themed drama called Hoops. Which is going to be written by Jennifer Cecil. What's that?
Of course, it's called Hoops.
That's not a bad name for a basketball show.
No, I feel like it's too easy. It's boring.
I'd be more interested if it was Space Jam, admittedly, but Hoops is fine. From writer Jennifer Cecil. Again, LeBron James is he was producing the last one, right? I'm not just remembering. Yeah, he was.
No, he was. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm sure I saw his name already. LeBron James is producing this as well, with Maverick Carter's Spring Hill Entertainment. Elizabeth Banks is also producing this one, with her Brownstone Productions with Max Hendelman. So,
correct if I'm wrong, but LeBron James produced something that won like in the Oscars last year. One of the documentary things, right?
Oh, I can't remember. I don't know.
I vaguely remember people going, "Oh, look, he's an Oscar winner now."
Now he's got tons of TV shows and movies in the works because he's an Oscar winner.
Yeah, maybe I'm misremembering and mixing him up with someone else. Because,
hey, power to him. If he wants to, retire from the basketball and make movies and shit, why not? Go for it.
Yeah, just go all in on the basketball show.
Yeah. Well, only one's a basketball show. The other one's very different.
It's true.
So at least it's not like when Shaq was doing movies and like everything had to have a joke about him missing a free throw. Like I don't watch basketball, but I know Shaq can't make free throws. I just know that.
Yeah.
Goddamn Steel. What a movie. Anyway, in Hoops, after years on the road as both a star player and a coach in the WNBA, Stevie Decker jumps at the chance to return to her alma mater to become the first female head coach of a men's college basketball team. But coming home isn't easy, as her career took a toll on her family. There's the personal life kind of thing they're creeping in. And the school she loves is embroiled in a sex scandal involving her mentor, a legendary former coach. So it sounds like the old coach who she idolised turned out to be a predator. And now she's here to take over the team. Very topical, makes a lot of sense. I like how CW's way of circumventing professional and personal life is just to put in a line about this really affected her family. that's just how they had to end.
It's not subtle, but it did the job.
Yeah, that or love life. Family and love life. Those are the two things they have to sneak in just to get the personal side in there.
Again, though, I've got nothing against the show, but it's still on the CW. Sounds like one of those that, okay, I kind of see what this is. It's not for me.
Yeah, this is the sort of thing where if this was like a movie, like by like a stylized director,
or even a serious drama or different. Like I'm thinking, I mean, like Pitch.
Sure, okay, I can see Pitch. I was thinking, see if this was on HBO. This was like the Deuce levels of writing. I suppose
Yeah.
you can say that about anything, I suppose, if it was as well written as the Deuce.
That's why I went to
Yeah.
a more realistic tier. I'm still on network TV.
Yeah. I could totally see this as like a HBO miniseries, though.
Yeah, so could I.
It totally feels like the sort of thing they could do. But not to matter. I mean, it's good that CW are trying different things. I mean, they can't all just be DC shows, even though we may have
exactly.
6 of the bloody things next year.
And you know, great for those who like these, and if it's good, enjoy it. But
yeah.
I can't see myself ever watching it.
Fox have put in a pilot commitment for Connect. I just laughed there because I in my head I went, oh, it's an adaptation of Connect 4. That's the show.
Do you know what the worst part is?
Yeah.
I thought the same when you smirked. Like, is this Connect 4?
Do you know what, I'm pretty sure a network about 10 years ago or something like that did like a game show based in Connect 4, which makes sense. Like, you do a game show based in Connect 4, that's fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, why not do a TV show? We got a movie on Battleship. Why not do a TV show on Connect 4?
Why isn't that a game show based on Battleship? That seems like a nice tense time to watch.
It does, but
yeah, I don't know.
People are idiots.
Like, what you do is the first, like, you know, rounds to eliminate players is you have them face each other and you can see both sides as a viewer, right? But the big grand finale when someone gets through to the end is they need to play like a mystery, you know, kind of like the banker on Deal or No Deal. It's a mystery opponent. You don't get to see their ships, so it's like mystery, the final fight.
Yeah.
I need to pitch this. This is good. This is gold.
It is gold. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Who takes game shows? Let's get them on the line.
They all take game shows. People love game shows. Anyway, so this is correct. It's from writer Rashid Rizani, producers Howard Gordon, McGee, and 20th Century Fox TV. It is described as a high-concept, adrenalized procedural about a brash hero with a gift that he will use to assist his cop brother with whom he has a troubled relationship. Each week we'll see the two not only solve crimes, but working to reconnect. There's the personal lives thing coming in.
This is Fox, right?
Joel, I love this. It swerves you because you assume he's the cop, and he's like, he'll work with his cop brother. It's like, oh, he's the non-cop. He's the non-cop.
I know.
The brother's the cop.
Fox are bringing back the cop non-cop pairing. I feel like we had a little break from it. For
I
maybe,
like how this one's
season.
just they're buddy cops, but one's not a cop. That's what the premise of this is. They're brothers.
Yeah.
Like, what is he? What can he do? What's the gift? Is he good at martial arts? What is it? What's he doing?
He has. I mean, this is high concept, right? So,
sure.
Some sort of power.
It could be. See, this is the thing. This feels blander than that to me. I don't think it's an actual superpower, but I could be wrong.
Read it again. The bit that talks about his gift.
A brash hero with a gift that he will use to assist his cop brother. That's it.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty vague.
It's called Connect. I mean, I don't know if you can read into that with that and say that's something to do with what his gift is.
Yeah, I don't know. But they said high concept, so it's got to be something. It's not just he's a good fighter.
Just think, though, when this gets cancelled and then revived in 20 years' time, they can call it Reconnect.
Yeah.
Look at you jumping ahead. Let me finish my joke,
because they already ruined it at the end of their own description.
Last thing in the news this week, Fox has given a pilot commitment to Prodigal Son from writers Chris Feddick and Sam Sclaver. And Berlanti Productions is producing this one. Look at that, Berlanti's involved in something again.
Has he not got enough shows on the air?
Apparently not. It centers on Malcolm Bright, who has a gift. That is the second Fox thing in a row where someone's got a gift. But at least this one,
I sense one of these is being paired with Gifted.
This one tells us what the gift is, though, so this one gets points off the bat.
Okay.
This is telling us what it is. He knows how killers think. Now, admittedly, this is generic. It's very generic, but still.
That's not a gift.
He knows how
psychoanalysts.
He knows how killers think, how their minds work. Why? Back in the 90s, his father was one of the worst. A notorious serial killer called the Surgeon.
It's a really generic serial killer name as well.
It is. I do like the idea that the son of a serial killer became like a criminal psychologist, though.
It's TV Hero 101, though, isn't it?
It is, but it's fine. Like, as schlocky as it is, it's kind of fine. That's why
Yeah.
Bright is the best criminal psychologist around. Murder is the family business. What a line. Bright uses his twisty genius to help the MIPD solve crimes and stop killers, all while dealing with a manipulative mother. Here's the personal life coming in. With a manipulative mother, an annoyingly normal sister. What a dick. You're not a murderer or manipulative like my parents. You're boring, sister.
I think it's because he's a genius. So it's
Right,
like, yeah,
okay.
you're not smart enough. You're too normal.
A homicidal father still looking to bond with his prodigal son and his own constantly evolving neurosis. So his father's presumably in prison, and he's going to go visit him, Hannibal Lecter style, for pointers.
Yeah. Oh my god, I could... this I can see this TV show, right? It writes itself. This one, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is about as generic as you get, while still being enough to be interesting. Just in a script perspective, where there's enough going on, I can see why it could be good. I'm not expecting it to be good, but there's a reason why all these tropes work.
Yeah, you can see the show quite easily and be like, yeah, okay, that's gonna work.
I'll take Prodigal Son over SEAL Team any day of the week.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that one.
But that's it. That's the news this week. Was us leads on to picking our favourite episode of TV of the week. So let's be honest. It's because Better Call Saul. It's between Better Call Saul and The Deuce, right? Because Castle Rock's finale kind of sucked.
Yeah, so that's finished now, and it was, not that good.
Poor ending. Poor underwhelming ending. With that ending, I would not recommend the season. As much as there was some enjoyment to be had along the way, the ending kind of ruined it.
Disappointing, because we were having fun for the most part.
Yes. But so here's the thing. So we had Saul, and we had the Deuce. And I think Saul, at its heights, is better than the Deuce, because it hits that emotional core. But when Saul's not having a standout episode, does the Deuce beat it? Because the Deuce is so consistent with his writing and its skill and its craft.
I would say on another episode of The Deuce, maybe. This week for me is Saul. The Deuce was good, but it was very much a catch-up, refresher episode. It was, okay, here's where we are for the season. It was resetting the board.
Sure,
It wasn't actually doing its stuff yet. Next week, we might have a fight on our hands.
Yeah. I don't know, because I think this was a solid episode of Saul. It was a solid episode of the Deuce. So, I don't know. I really like both. I think I'm going to go with the Deuce. Not really because of quality in either one, just because it came back this week and I was happy to see it. So
that's fair. Like I said, I think next week it's got a pretty good chance.
Yes, there's a fight in our hands next week, and we'll see how it goes. But so yeah, can't go wrong with those two shows. It is worth mentioning there is actually a new show launching today at the time of recording. It'll be yesterday by the time this goes up, on Hulu, called The First, which we're hoping to sneak in and cover tomorrow, and we'll try our best to do so. And by tomorrow I mean Saturday night, sometime Saturday night. We're hoping to.
Yes.
So
my work schedule permitting.
Yes, schedule
but
permitting.
Also, before the next news episode, we should have the first episode of Maniac.
That's true. That's next Friday, which means we should also have finished Jack Ryan by then, because we're going to make a damn point to finish that before that starts. We got 3 episodes left.
We've got 3 more to go.
It seems doable.
Plausible.
It seems doable until you realise that there was a week between episodes 4 and 5.
Was there a full week?
There's a full week between those 2 episodes.
God damn it.
So, just have to stay on the ball, and make sure it gets done. And that wasn't intentional. There was 2 planned episodes that got pushed, or 2 planned recording times that got pushed because of life and scheduling and whatnot. But yeah, so that's TV stuff that's coming up. So we're getting into sort of a busier schedule, largely because Netflix and Amazon are both kind of pumping things out a little bit more frequently for us, stuff that's interesting to us. Also worth mentioning, Into the Dark, not that it's out for a few more weeks, but I'd forgotten about this until we were looking at the scheduling last week. This is the Hulu show that is monthly, It's a monthly horror anthology where you get one episode a month. And I think it's the first Friday of each month. So the first episode's in the first week of October, so we'll be covering that, and then that'll be a monthly thing. That's kind of cool. I like that. I like that it's not clogging up every week's schedule. It's just the one a month. That's kind of nice.
No, it's nice. I'm actually just looking at our schedule, and we consistently have Netflix or Amazon for a while now, because we've gone from Jack Ryan into Maniac. After that, we'll have Haunting on Hill House.
Yep.
Then Sabrina and Castlevania, and then Homecoming. We're covered up to like mid-November.
Yep. So a lot of consistent TV binge content coming. And obviously we'll try a few pilots from the networks and stuff in September.
Oh yes, in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. That's right, yeah, we're already in September, yeah, so that's actually
we're halfway
soon.
Through September.
That's a good point, yeah. Yeah. September doesn't start until the TV pilots start.
Which is usually relatively late. It's like the 20th.
Yeah, I know. But that's what it makes me think of September as TV pilots.
I agree, yeah.
But hey. So no, that is us. That is TV news. So if you want to support the channel and support everything we do here, head over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, and you can support us over there for as little as $1 per month, and it's a big help. So if you want to do that, we would love you forever and always. But if you can't do that, don't feel too bad. You can support us, of course, by watching the ads on YouTube, turn off your ad block, commenting, subscribing, liking, ringing the bell, all the other stupid things that YouTubers say that make me feel weird and kind of slutty for pimping them out. You know, feel a bit of shame. Just like.
What you need to do is you need to just make a sign that says all this stuff and stick it on that bookshelf behind you. And it's like, read the sign.
That would be fine, but half of our audience are audio only, so we kind of have to see it.
Those people who are audio only, they're not watching this on YouTube anyway, so they don't have to do all that stuff on YouTube.
All that stuff, but Patreon and
but then you can do the Patreon bits still.
Sure,
yeah.
Okay, all right, and the Twitter.
That bit's important.
And whatnot. At @mailed_fuzz for Twitter. I'm at Wibble89. Connor's at ConnorRyan94. Which I remember better than he does, even though it's just his name and his birth year.
Yeah, no, it's true. I have to read it off the screen.
Yes. Anytime I ask him what his Twitter is, he has to think about it. Even though
Look,
it's his name.
Someone asked me the other day how old I am, and I had to work it out. I had to go, hang on a second. That's my birthday. It was a good 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had to do that. I always know what age I am. Right? That's
I don't. It's kind of irrelevant for most of the time.
Oh dear. That has been TV news. So thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. We'll get to that siren pilot eventually, we promise. Have you got any vanilla?